Let me get the views of Martin or Law before we take a very quick break before 10 p.m. Martin, today, listening to the proceedings at the Supreme Court, Wafula Chebukati's name was mentioned adversely, all those things. And yesterday, yesterday when the petitioners were in court, and today the respondents, had to do their defense. Do you believe that the IEBC tends to get vilified, or is this just normal? What happens as a democracy is maturing?
Thank you, Ben, for having me and for having the guests in. Let me start by saying that I don't agree with what my sister Joy is saying. The reason we have Article 140 in the Constitution means that any Kenyan, not political players, and that's why we have more than 9 petitions this time round, any Kenyan can approach the Supreme Court and make submissions as to the validity of a presidential election, and indeed any other election away from the presidential election. So that is not about political players. That is about an inherent constitutional right for anybody to challenge what an outcome should be and raise issues of illegalities or raise issues of breaches and raise issues of non-compliance with the Constitution. So that is a free thing. So I don't agree with my learned colleague Abdul Kadir, neither do I agree with my good professor Gideon Muigai by saying that there's nothing wrong with IBC. There is everything wrong with IBC as constituted today, both from the chairperson, the way he has conducted himself right from 2017, when he bungled the elections and the Supreme Court annulled it, how his relationship with the CEO, Chiloba, and how that played out, how the IEBC commissioners walked out, and how, in this case, other commissioners have walked out. There is something inherently wrong. You can't defend an illegality. You can't defend incompetence. You can't defend poor leadership. You can't defend absence of management skills on the part of Wafula Chebukati as the chair. Indeed, the questions are very simple. What was difficult in him making sure that the announcement of the 27 polling stations was done in terms of, since they had been verified? That question is out there. He'll be responding to it. So basically what I'm saying is that there is something inherently wrong with IBC as constituted today, both in terms of the human capacity, both in terms of competence, both in terms of the will. And let us not forget this, Ben. IBC is composed of Kenyans. When we talk of corruption, when we talk of malfeasance, when we talk of even the independence, the reason is it's not enough to call an institution independent. How are the people inside behaving? There's everything to doubt whether people inside IBC believe in what the Constitution gives them and what the law gives them, that they are independent.
All right.
Because they are playing,
well said,
the game as it plays out shows otherwise.
Well said. Before we take a quick break, I want to give you like 1 minute to respond to what Martin said without, interrogating matters that are before court. What do you have to say to what he is saying?
If you have personality clashes and you are in a workplace, you are expected to perform a duty, not to make friends or to, have a kumbaya party. And therefore, you would expect that the people who are carrying out a duty would be guided by certain ethos. Now, if you remember the first lot of IBC commissioners who left, they just said that they didn't like Chebukati and his working style. They didn't give us anything else to go by. IBC this time round, what they did, in my opinion, they not only walked Kenyans through the process, they told us how they complied with the criticisms that were leveled in the 2017 decision.
Yes.
They even went as far as walking Kenyans through the process of checking through the portal, got a robust enough software that enabled people to follow the process along. So in my mind, the IBC is trying to comply with all the rules and regulations and everything that they've been asked to do. The people who don't like what they see is the politicians. I agree, any Kenyan can go to court to challenge the conduct of the election and the outcome of the election if they find that there's something wrong with it. That is true. But we have to separate not liking Chebukati and whether or not he did a good job.
All right.
He delivered 5 other elections on that day. All of those people are waiting to be sworn in, others are already in office. But we have a problem with this particular one. Why this particular one? And that's what I'm saying. It must be something to do with our political culture, because it is not normal behavior in a democracy that every time we go to an election, it ends up in court. That's not normal behavior. But in Kenya, I guess it's part of our growing pains because our constitution is young, our democracy is growing, so these court cases are helping us with our jurisprudence.
All right.
But what we have is not a normal behavior. The election ought to end with a declaration of the IBC, but that's not always the case for us.
Phrases like political hygiene, political manners have been thrown around. We shall be getting back in a short while to talk about that and the fact, Martin, that other, office holders, including governors and senators who are lawyers at the Supreme Court currently, will be sworn in using the very same process. We shall be getting your thoughts on that. Let's take a quick commercial break here on Front and Center. Don't go too far. We're back shortly. Stay with us.